Hello, everyone. Again, thank you for taking your time to join our webinars today, hosted by Intesi Group and iGrant, where we will walk you through the role of European Digital Identity Wallet in banking, and we will show you also a short demo, live demo on payment. Before starting, just a bit of housekeeping. Please use the chat for comments and interactions. For instance, if you want to say us hello and where are you joining us from, would be very welcome. And for questions that you have for speakers, please use the Q&A feature. This session will be recorded, the webinar will be recorded, and shortly after we will end up, just give us a bit of time to prepare the video, to upload it, and will be sent to all registered participants together with the information and materials that you'll have the chance to see today. A short introduction. I'm Vicky Manaila, Trust Services Director with Intesi Group, deeply involved, as you most probably know, in the eIDAS ecosystem ever since. And today with me, I have Lal from iGrant. He is one of the very knowledgeable and experienced experts in the field of digital identity wallets. So please, Lal, if you want to say hello and to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. Hello all. My name is Lal Chandran. I'm one of the co-founders of iGrant at EU, and I'm also acting as the Chief Technology Officer in the company. We are based out of Stockholm, Sweden. As Vicky pointed out, I've been in the space for quite some time, building digital wallets. And as a company, we are heavily invested in both wallets for individuals as well as business wallets, taking care of all the issuance, verification, and holder for organizations, as well as for individuals. I'm looking forward to this presentation and listening to some of your questions ahead.
Yeah. So the agenda for today, just a bit of context regarding the EUDI framework and financial sector. We will not go into details explaining what eIDAS is about, what is the European Digital Identity Framework, what is the wallet. We will strictly stick to the wallet in the payment and in the financial sector use cases. Then Lal will talk about our pilots for payment in EWC consortium. We'll give you a bit of background. What are the key aspects regarding the payments with digital identity wallets? Because I find this fascinating and really extraordinary to have this possibility to combine digital identity with payment in one place. And there are a lot of opportunities for financial sector that they should take on immediately. So what are the key aspects? How to link the EUDI wallet to a bank account? What does it mean? And the second part, use the EUDI wallet to approve a payment. Then Lal will make a live demo, and in the end we will reserve 10 minutes, let's say, to take your questions and to answer them from the chat. Now we'd like to know a bit of about your organization. So if you please can answer this simple question: what role your organization will play in the EUDI framework in Slido. So will you be a wallet provider? The question allows multiple answers. So will you be a wallet provider or an electronic attestation of attributes provider, qualified electronic signature, or a relying party in case of a bank, or your organization haven't made a decision yet about the role to play. So let's see who is with us today. We don't know yet. No, that cannot be the majority. Wow, super. Electronic attestation of attributes provider, wallet provider, relying party. I'm very happy to have relying parties with us today. They are an important part of the EUDI ecosystem. Electronic attestation of attributes provider. So cool. Thank you. Thank you. We will keep this question open so you can continue voting. So what are who are the stakeholders, or who are the players that needs to accept mandatory the EUDI wallet according to the revised eIDAS regulations? So first of all, the public administration, and secondly, the regulated industries that are required by different laws to use strong authentication of customers in order to deliver their services. And the EUDI framework has imposed a very strict deadline, December 2027. All regulated industries, regulated industries must accept the EUDI wallet. What does it mean? So I've heard a lot of questions. So should I work now to replace the existing authentication mechanism with the wallet? No, the answer is no. The EUDI wallet will be an additional mechanism alongside the existing ones. So will not replace the existing solutions, rather will complement them with a lot of other possibilities. Thinking about financial sector and fintechs and banks, according to the most recent statistics and reports, still 80% of financial institutions are relying verification on document based. So not necessarily the identity verification, but in all sorts of interactions with their customers, they are requiring at a certain point of time a document that is verified manually or by other systems. And also we have seen a dramatically increase in fraud that are causes losses annually around between 20 billion and 40 billion due to synthetic identities. So most companies today, they can't detect AI generated documents. And we have seen how fast those AI tools have been added all sorts of features. So you can generate, so anyone can generate documents, all sorts of documents. They can generate video, they can generate audio. So you can easily be fooled by these generated artifacts. So in this context, the banks and fintechs, traditional KYC processes are exposed to unprecedented fraud risk. And this is really serious and should take action as soon as possible. For instance, you can imagine that mortgage approvals using fake income proofs. So very easily you can, someone that is has a bad intention can provide fake income proofs or a synthetic credit history or insurance claims with fabricated evidences. So the EUDI wallet has truly the potential to disrupt the customer risk management and fraud. So you can imagine that not only the bank has the need to verify the customer, but also the customer need to verify the bank. So we have seen a lot of attacks lately with messages received via WhatsApp, via phone calls, claiming to be from our bank, that something happened and we need to change the password or to do something, and it's really terrifying. So there are a lot of people that are fooled, unfortunately, and they are losing the access to their account, or they are losing money. So in this context, the European Digital Identity Wallet will have the possibility to verify both actors of a transaction. So who is requiring a service and who is offering the service. Also, the wallet will become an authentication, a secure authentication channel, at the same time messaging channel, because you can have all sorts of messages and interactions as a wallet holder with your service providers. I know a lot of people that are not involved in the large-scale pilots are searching on the web to see what is happening, when the wallets will be live, what is the status of different countries in the wallet implementation. So for the past 2 years, we have worked tirelessly in the large-scale pilot to implement and to address all sort of bits and bytes. So what the others are seeing is like a very funny journey, but the reality is much more complex. And I think I can honestly say that we managed to do a great job, because all the participants in the large-scale pilots came with this collaborative approach. Let's solve the problems. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's see how the others are facing the problem, how they solved an issue. And it was truly, truly a very collaborative space. And myself, I learned a lot during this time, but I think each participant. So I'm pleased now to give the floor to Lal and to walk you through what we effectively done in EWC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vicky. So in today's webinar, most of the work we are presenting has been carried out as part of our efforts with the European Union Digital Identity Wallet Consortium, or the EWC large-scale pilot funded by the EU Commission. So we sincerely thank all those involved as part of the EWC itself, but also the payment task force, who has contributed immensely to the specification, particularly the ones you see on the screen, who has been also validating the specifications that we have come out with. One of the company I want to also specify on top of all these existing companies is LICID, who have also contributed tremendously to the specifications in the early phases. So the Visa led the team, and we achieved the first payment live in production using a EUDI wallet. A user used a iGrant.io issued data wallet with a Visa card connected to a Bank of Transylvania bank account to buy a ferry ticket issued by Fast Ferries in Greece, who has been heavily supported by University of Aegean. And the Worldline provided the 3DS, while BPC was the ACS provider. So it's a bunch of companies that came
from Romania. Let's say hello to my Romanians people.
Exactly. So it's a bunch of companies that came together across EU in making the first pilot happen. And we are super excited to share some of our findings and some of the achievements, including the demonstration. So everything that I will demonstrate today and talk about are also hosted in the link that you see on the bottom, where you yourself can try with a EUDI wallet and try the payment scenario, for example. And I'm hopeful that we can extend soon to other wallet providers who will implement the similar function. So this is like the payment part landscape we had come out with as part of the EWC on the merchant side, the interoperability domain side, the banking side, the EUDI Wallet domain side. So what do you see on the first three blocks are very much what is existing today. So what we have done in EWC is, as a first step, is to retrofit the existing machinery with EUDI wallets, as Vicky pointed out. So Vicky, one observation we have is that EUDI Wallet is not going to replace every single thing. It's going to be a transformation that will happen, which will actually be looking at adopting it into the existing framework of digitalization, and payment is definitely a part of it. So what you see on the extreme right is the EUDI Wallet domain. And of course, I've taken the liberty to name a few players, but these are very much coming from the EWC consortium. So at iGrant.io, we provided the wallet as well as an issue and verifier. There are others also who provided this same thing, a bunch of them, in fact. And as a wallet provider, a fundamental role that you have is to issue what we call as the WUA, the wallet unit attestation, which is embedded into a wallet to make it operational. And once it is operational, once you acquire PID, it becomes a valid EUDI wallet. And Intesi Group is very much part of the equation as a qualified TSP and also a qualified signing service provider. Next slide. So when it comes to the payment domain with EUDI wallets, there are two key aspects from an individual perspective. The first one on the towards the left, if you can click, Vicky. So the individual connects their EUDI wallets to their bank account and gets a digital proof linking their EUDI wallet to the bank account issued from the bank IT system. On the second side is what happens next. So once the individual has linked their EUDI wallet with their bank account and obtain the proof, they can use this proof in every subsequent transaction, for example, payments. So the payment side of it, you can see two different boxes. The one is a merchant-led transaction, and the other is a bank-led transaction. Merchant-led transaction is very much what you encounter when you go, for example, to a online shop, or even when you go to a real shop. So that is pretty much like, you're tapping your phone or scanning a QR code at the point of sale device, and you're carrying out the transaction. Bank-led payment is predominantly as online as a second factor authentication that happens when the bank is letting a transaction happen via the banking channels. Just a comment on the left side again. So what we have done as part of EWC is provided a pluggable module, which we call as the bank organization wallet with issuer and verify function, which is issuing this proof, the digital proof that I spoke about, which we call as a bank authenticator. So we have come out with a very seamless integration where the bank IT system can integrate to standard APIs and then receive any kind of indications, whether when the individual is connecting to the bank, for example, via a webhook mechanism. So for some of you who are interested in technology and want to understand the details, the RFC 007 and RFC 008 would give you more details into how exactly we have used, for example, the OpenID for VC flow and PSD2, etc., and also together with transaction data, how we have actually fulfilled the completion of a payment transaction. You can see the details with data models and so on. So as part of EWC, we have also had like all kinds of data models, rule books, and the RFC. And then as an input to this, Visa has brought in a tremendous amount of implementation guides, which has been very useful in understanding the landscape from a PSD2 and strong customer authentication perspective. So what you achieve when you link your bank account is essentially you are enabling strong customer authentication functionality onto your EUDI wallet, which you can subsequently use for any fulfilling any transaction. Next slide, please. So before I dive deeper into the details, I just want to take a step back and look at how the wallet architecture really looks like. This is a bit technological, but I hope this is to give you a flavor that there's like a readily available software components that can be deployed onto any merchant IT systems, or a bank IT systems. You can buy them on premise. You can also consume it as a service, and there are many players who are really building these kind of software services, including iGreen. And the key element is also the bottom part, where we source key management. Either so we as a provider, we have multiple options when it comes to key management. One is to use own service. This is predominantly for, say, non-qualified or normal attestations. And then when you require qualified attestation, you can either consume the services from the likes of Intesi Group using a QTSP service, or you can also, there are certain players who are already a QTSP, for example, which may have an HSM and a key management function existing. In that case, we also provide an ability to integrate that seamlessly into our software solution. So the whole thing can be deployed in an easy way. And that's very much what we have also done during our piloting. And then on the very, very bottom right corner, you also have the trust framework. So as part of the, say, ADAS 2 compliant trust framework, we have used EU Trustless as a mechanism in EWC that is also compliant to the ETSI specification. I kind of like the number, which you probably know. Is it ETSI 119183 or something? Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and
so
then
the standard for EU trust list.
Yeah, exactly. So the standard for the EU trust list, and then all the service types, etc., are defined. We have also added new service types for wallet to catering to the new roles, such as, for example, PID issuer, LPID issuer, wallet provider, etc. We have also have EBSI as another possible trust framework that's relying on a distributed ledger-based technology. So this is how we have built up the whole system. So now the first section. So how do you link the EUDI wallet to the bank account? On the very first, so you can imagine the individual with a EUDI wallet. So it's not really, it's just operational or valid in nature with a PID that is embedded with it. So it can be used as a EUDI wallet basically. And then individual typically has a bank account. The bank account has a portal that is existing that is providing certain services. Now, the first question you ask is how do you connect these two different systems? Because EUDI Wallet is mostly supplied by a third party, either a member state or a member state endorsed wallet provider, for example. And then the question is, how do you actually link these two things? So that is pretty much what is happening in this first step. So once you log on to the bank account, for example, you request to connect to the EUDI wallet to the bank account, probably by scanning a QR code. And on the bank system, for example, what the bank IT system provided is a mechanism of doing that process. So it has provided a mechanism to issue this kind of digital proof that can link the bank account to a EUDI wallet. And this second step is where the bank has decided that, okay, before we issue that linking, I would like to know more about you as an individual.
Who you are.
Who you are, exactly. And requesting a PID. And the individual, since the individual has a PID or any kind of ID proof, provide that signed proof to the bank. And once the bank is satisfied, the bank backend system can issue the payment authenticator. Yeah. So the prerequisite for this entire flow is a valid ID proof. It can be a PID or it can be any other ID proof that is decided by the banking service provider. And what the attestation include is typically two things. One is a bank account and the payment source. And payment source here can be a direct link to your bank account, direct payment from bank account, or it can be a card-based payment. And this is what is linking what kind of payment is going to be used when you use a EUDI wallet with a merchant, for example. And it, of course, have a secure digital keys that proves the connection is truly yours. So it's basically non-repudiation is what happens in the second step. And just a point to note on the, Vicky, previous slide, please. Yeah. So just a point, if I may add on, is the role of the bank organization wallet having this issue and verify function. So if you noticed, what is actually really requiring is a valid proof. So the verification of a particular identity is done during the transaction of issuance of a payment authenticator. So it is performing both these functions as part of what we call as a dynamic credential issuance workflow, which includes a verification embedded within it. Next slide, please. So this is a bit of a schematic diagram to show some examples of the various entities that are included in a typical, say, a linking the bank account scenario perspective. So in EWC, we have used a PID provider. There are a bunch of PID providers. MoID from Czech Republic is one of the PID provider we are tested with. We have the PWA issuer or bank authenticator issuer coming from Bank of Transylvania. We have the WA or the wallet unit attestation coming from iGrant, and the PID and the Intesi Group has been supporting as a qualified trust service provider in those requiring a qualified signature, for example, such as, for example, PID. And on the very right side is the merchant side of it, which I will be talking further in. So the whole thing is using a verifiable data registry. As I mentioned, we will rely on the EU trustless for this whole purpose in EWC. Next slide, please. So once the individual has acquired a digital proof, the bank authenticator, the individual can use that in any subsequent transaction. So let's imagine a situation where the merchant, I'm focusing predominantly on the merchant flow here because it's a bit more easier to explain to normal people. So from a merchant point of view, if a merchant requires any kind of payment, they need to have some kind of integration with the existing point of sale device service system to an entity that can request to confirm a payment, for example, or request a transaction to be confirmed based on a payment wallet attestation. So the first thing that it does is to request payment confirmation and a payment authenticator that can be used to verify the payment, for example. So once the individual wallet scans that QR code, gets this request, it signs the transaction data. The transaction data is generated from the merchant side, which is, again, a new thing that has come up in OpenID for VP, if you're familiar with the technology side of it. So the transaction data is nothing but the value. So if it is 25 euro transaction that is needed, the value that is associated with currency and blah, blah, blah. So there's a bunch of things that is there. So that transaction data is given to the individual that is signed with the key that is bound to the payment authenticator. And together with the key, of course. And then it also transmits the WA, which proves the user side of it, with, of course, the key binding. And the third thing that follows is once the merchant receives this signed transaction data, it forwards the whole thing into the bank IT system via existing 3DS mechanism. So this is like really leveraging the existing mechanism as is without really optimizing in any form, but leveraging the existing channel as is so that we can actually carry out this transaction as a first step towards payment using EUDI wallets. And the bank IT system receives the transaction request and verify the transaction data against the issued PWA. Yet again, you can see that there is a role of a verifier that comes into play, which can interpret this information that has been transmitted via the 3DS and confirm that it is okay. And that is exactly what happens in step number 5, where the notification is sent for a successful payment. And finally, the merchant is getting a confirmation that the transaction is fully successful. You can click, yeah. And finally, the transaction is shown as confirmed for example, if you're in a portal, you can see that the portal also provides a tick mark to the counter, the person who is in the counter, for example. So this entire flow is specified as part of RFC 008 for confirming payment data transaction using EUDI Wallet that was linked in the previous step. So this is a representation of the parties that could be involved, and I'll move more to the right side of it. So here it was fast ferries that was used during our EWC piloting, which acted as a merchant. Fast Ferries is a Greek-based ferry company, and Bank of Transylvania is yet another verifier that has been out there, which was the original issue of the payment authenticator. And we used, as I mentioned, we used a Moyo ID as a PID. We also used other IDs, and we used WA from iGrant in this whole chain of operation.
That's fascinating. But let's see a live demo, Lal. So I will
Absolutely.
Stop sharing. So take the screen.
So I hope that you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just refresh my screen. So what you see on my screen is so you can also see this in our, if you go to demo.igrand.io, and there's a link to the payment with EUDI wallets. There are two parts, as I mentioned. One is the payment authenticator, and other is a payment transaction. So the first thing I do is go into the payment authenticator. The very first step is that you need to prepare your EUDI wallet with a PID. And the PID can be requested from an existing service that we offer. You can request a PID here, or if you have Moyo ID, that also works. And once you have acquired a PID, I'll skip that step because I already have acquired a PID. So I have a PID already existing in my data wallet that is on the left side. And the second step, once I have the PID and the wallet is in valid state, the bank has provided a mechanism for me to request issuance of, or mechanism to connect my EUDI wallet on my on the left side to the banking service. So this particular thing could be, for example, in the banking portal. And once I'm ready, I scan the QR code, and I get a request to share a personal identification data in this case. And for security and privacy reasons, we have it all blurred out. But if I disable that, you can see given name and first name. We have used only name for to simplify a little bit, but in the real production system, we use the real identity IDs, etc. And once I'm satisfied, I confirm the ID, exchange of ID to the banking system. And the backend system receives my ID, and they may receive a web notification to the issuance system saying that, okay, now you can issue a payment wallet attestation or a bank authenticator. Or in this case, we have issued it for a card, a Visa card, for example. And on the left side, I have received the offer credential, and I can see that if I uncheck the eye icon, I can see that it's been sent, the notification has been sent from Bank of Transylvania, following my request to issue a payment authenticator. And I can see that the card number is there, and it's been issued by Bank of Transylvania and using a Visa card, Visa payment network, for example. And once I accept to add the payment authenticator into my wallet, it gets added into my wallet. You can also see in iGrant wallet, we have a separate section called payments. You can see the payment authenticator over here. And you can see, for example, 3 different payment cards. It's because I've been playing around a little bit earlier. So I had a couple of times I've done that, but you can see all these
But also
different
it's
cards
useful for people having multiple accounts or multiple banks. Yes, they will be all in one place.
That was my target. That was my target as well. Yes. So I have got 3 cards. One is a duplicate card, so you can ignore that. But then there's another one, which is 8025. 8027 is the real transaction card, for example. And I have it now ready for using it in any subsequent transactions. So that's what I'm going to do on the merchant side of it. I have a merchant where I have a bank-led flow as well as a merchant-led flow. I will choose a merchant-led flow. And typically you have like a transaction workflow where you have a request to confirm the payment with a QR code. And here's where we scan the QR code. So all I need to do is to use my payment wallet, payment authenticator to confirm the payment. And in this case, the wallet automatically figured out that there are 3 different cards, for example. I will choose the last card that has been issued. And I can also see that the payment is being made to fast ferries out of in Attica in Greece. And the transaction is for 25 euros. And once I'm satisfied with the whole request, I click the pay button, and I'm authenticated with my bio ID, with my Face ID, for example. And then the whole transaction is now going to the merchant's backend system, wire and transmitted to wire is transmitted to the banking service provider, looking at the individual's bank account details, and finally confirming the transaction in towards the merchant portal, for example. I'm hoping to see a tick mark coming pretty soon. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. We have a little bit of optimization to be made to make it faster, but it's purely because we are yet to optimize the search mechanisms, etc. That is still a work in progress for us. So the whole process, as you saw, is quite seamless. From an individual point of view, it's purely about scanning a QR code. So if you're from Sweden, for example, we have Swish here. It's a very similar kind of mechanism. The major difference is that it's interoperable across EU, and the scale that it can actually be deployed is where the major difference comes in. We have a bunch of resources in the EWC GitHub. So all the RFCs are listed out here. And for payments, there's a separate folder called Payment RFCs, which contains a bunch of implementation guides and the two RFCs that I mentioned.
There is a lot. There is a lot needed for payment to grasp and to understand on the details. So
exactly. And then we also have in iGrand, we also have a playground in our organizational wallet. You can see how to acquire the whole work. This is more for developers and technologists who actually want to understand this in detail. We are also happy to provide API keys to play around with. The whole flow that you see can be trialed out. We also have the payment data confirmation workflows, including generation of QR code and so on, fully documented and in a functional mode. On that note, back to you, Vicky.
Yes, thank you. So let me share back my screen. All right. So what's next, Lal?
Yeah, so that's right. Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
What you saw is essentially a first step towards adoption of EUDI Wallet. What we have proved is that it can be done. And we have already achieved.
It seems a small step, but it's giant. Literally, it's huge.
Absolutely. So, but we do think there are a lot of optimizations that can be done, including optimizing in terms of, say, direct payment from bank. So imagine if you can actually make a direct payment from your bank account directly to a hotel in Italy, for example, seamlessly. And also optimizing that whole workflow. Second is the user experience itself can be tremendously improved. We have already identified a few things together with our partners. And we also believe that this could also fundamentally add on to the value of EUDI wallets being adopted at scale going forward. So there are a lot of things are still in the pipeline. That's very much what I'm trying to convey.
Those will be taken for the next round of large-scale pilots, because we will continue our work in, for instance, Intesi Group and iGrant in WeBuild, right? So
exactly.
we will continue there, and most of the participants that are currently in the large-scale pilots will be in the second round. So let's see the questions we have. Sorry, let's find the questions because we have some. So first question from Alex. Hello, Alex. Can you share any insight into the certification process for financial services companies to become a qualified electronic attestation of attributes provider, which seems to be required for card issuers to be allowed to issue payment wallet attestation? So electronic attestation of attributes providers, as well as other trust services providers, must follow a very rigorous process for getting this status preparing. So if you are new in the trust services provisioning. There are quite of things to do in order to be ready. But the banks not necessarily needs to become a qualified trust service providers, or a financial institution doesn't necessarily need to become such a provider. They can rely on existing trust services providers on the market, entering into an agreement with them, and start issuing credentials. For instance, if you want to issue IBAN, for instance, for sure will be trust service providers doing that, and not only for one bank. They will be able to issue those type of electronic attestation of attributes from multiple banks. The second question is coming from Richard. Hello, Richard. Happy to have you here. How will notified EIDs coexist with PIDs? Lal, would you like to take this one?
See, I think I don't see any reason why it cannot coexist, but the decision of that is very much up to the member state in my mind. So in my opinion, it should coexist. And
Yeah,
it shouldn't be
absolutely.
really any separate process. I mean, we've already shown that it's possible, for example, to say convert an existing cards, for example, and identifiers into a verifiable credential. So it shouldn't be a major problem in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So the PID will rely also on existing electronic identities that are already notified. So it's depending very much on the level of assurance that the EID was notified. If it's high, it's going directly into the wallet. If it's substantial and the country does not have a level of assurance high, they need to prepare and to do some work to higher the level of assurance from substantial to high, and then to onboard it in the wallet. And that will be up to each member state, but having a baseline procedures and requirements how to upgrade, let's say, the level of assurance of an existing substantial EIDs, and to onboard it to the wallet. We have another question from Jerome. Hello, Jerome. Did you using a BPA tool to design, automate, and improve the flows you mentioned, please? So this is for you, Love.
I'm not familiar with what's BPA. Maybe, yeah, I'm not very familiar with that. Sorry for that. I can take the next question. Since the personal data will be from
Yes.
John, since the personal data will be given through the data to the bank, why can't this data be shared automatically through the ID already stored in the wallet? Yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of thing that we want to do. At the same time, there are also legal requirements when it comes to sharing personal data. For example, user has to be involved if it is a personal data and so on. So as long as the say automated transfer mechanism can be legalized, this shouldn't be a problem at all. Oliver, thanks for the demo, which is based on a card payment. What about payment that would be made through? Is it made through A? Is a payment attestation same as the A2Pay, which is described in Norbit LST? So the same attestation. Yeah, so there's a lot of discussion going on between various consortiums, and the effort is being made to streamline all these different approaches. We'll be releasing some paper as part of the payment task force. Visa has taken the lead in that aspect, which will throw some more light in this area. Eric asks, if the digital ID and wallet are fully secure, don't you think that this will kill the actual identity verification system solutions? I think there's a lot of discussion that is clearly open out there in terms of efficiency gain, in terms of cost effectiveness, etc. Definitely, there is a huge advantage of moving towards a EUDI Wallet system. At the same time, these identity verification systems also could definitely will have to adopt these new mechanisms in my mind. because the kind of network they've already built is huge. So there's no point in rebuilding the same thing. So there's an opportunity also to leverage the existing verification networks and so on, in my opinion.
There is another angle also. So, for instance, as a bank, if you have implemented an identity verification system, you should keep the pace with the threats coming. So you should work all the time to update, to make all sort of tests and to keep the certification of your systems. While using the EUDI wallet, you are moving these activities and responsibilities and the burden on the wallet provider side, because you always will always have a certified solution that is highly secure and someone else is taking care of. So we should look at also from this angle.
Yeah. Jerome clarified what a BPA. Yeah,
what BPA
got it.
is.
Business process automation. Yes, we did adopt the business process automation already today. The task force has worked on streamlining the whole flow. The very first task was to really understand the flow and to streamline it. However, there's a huge reluctance in changing some of the workflows. For example, when it comes to, say, boarding pass issues, etc., there's a flow that has been rolled out. People are already using it. So it's a bit of a challenge to really change that overnight. At the same time, coming from a wallet angle and coming from a hardcore wallet fanatic perspective, we have been educating that, okay, we can skip a lot of steps in the whole process, and we hope and ultimately this has to be decided by the relying parties or the business process owners, but we do believe that this could tremendously simplify some of these processes. The next one, the EUDI Wallet overcome PSD2 regarding necessity of. See, I'm not a banking expert here, but that's precisely what we are targeting. But as I mentioned, this should be something that someone with a banking background open banking background should answer. My belief is it will overcome and provide this SC function. And this is, in fact, what is also required from a regulatory standpoint, if I understood right, from ADAS 2 perspective.
All right. So we have also in the chat some questions. So one from Jim. Hello, Jim. Can you elaborate on key management via HSM as a service? Curious how this is compliant to the ETSI standard.
So one approach we have adopted is that, for example, there are like a bunch of HSM vendors who already provide certain HSMs to supply the HSM to public sector, for example. And some of these public sector entities don't want to use, yet another mechanism. So one of the requirements that we got was if they could just hook their existing HSMs and use the key services. We are not very clear yet how this will be compliant to the QTSP qualified signing service or QTSP role aspects, and that is something that we need to investigate further. As a technology provider, we took a little bit of a dump approach in making that happen. We are yet to see how this will be realized in practice.
As a qualified trust service provider, Intesi Group will take care of that. So I remind everyone that yesterday, the third batch of implementing acts has been publicly released for consultation. There are 10 implementing acts with their annexes, where referring the majority of them to the trust services provisioning. So is touching us in every sense and point. So we still need to have the final version of the implementing acts and to see exactly what are the requirements. For instance, is one implementing act for identity verification and how identity proofing mechanism implemented by qualified trust service providers for the issuance of qualified electronic signatures and qualified electronic attestation of attributes should be implemented. The solutions should be certified and should pass a conformity through an accredited conformity conformity laboratory. So it is a lot, and all of them by May next year. So next question.
You have a question, yeah.
Yeah, please.
I think you should answer that, maybe.
Yes, the next one from Job.
Job, yeah.
Will the EUDI wallet replace the customer onboarding process to obtain an Intesi QS certificate? No, will not replace, will complement. So we will add this possibility, because I remind everyone the EUDI wallet is not mandatory for the citizens to adopt them. So it's up to us building the ecosystems to ensure and to bring to the market use cases that are meaningful for them, and they are encouraged to adopt the wallet, while the member states are obliged by December next year to be able to deliver their citizens at least one EUDI wallet solution. So I think we...
There are two people who have raised their hands, if you have time. Yeah.
Yes, I
John?
can see. Yeah.
How do
John,
you...
if you please open the mic.
I can see that you have unmuted, but we don't hear you, John.
Probably the webinar does not allow participants to intervene. So this is the feature of webinars. But you can write your comment in.
Maybe Shruti, do you want to try? You have also raised it, but I think you need to unmute first.
No, I don't think it's possible for participants to speak. We have prepared a lot of references for you that you will have the chance to see and to check, to give a read once you'll receive the materials from us after this recording. So you have the end-to-end payment with iGrant wallet, the RFC that Lal presented to you, the specifications for payment data confirmation. Lal, if you want to complement, to add something, please feel free.
No, feel free to reach out. The only comment is feel free to reach out either if you're already part of EWC in one way or the other, use our Slack channels, or you can reach out on LinkedIn or email us at support@igrand.io is what I would suggest, or you can even reach out to me.
So now we would like to have a feedback from you if this webinar was useful in any way, if you found out new information, if you are happy, or you consider you lost your time, but I hope not, since you stayed here till the end. Please don't be shy. Vote. Give us your vote. Up, up, up. That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's very useful for us to understand what you're up for, you're interested in the topics. And as Lal said, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Last but not least, we in EWC have the second phase pilot. And we would like to invite everyone to start playing with the wallet to become the early user adopter. There are 3 use cases. I don't know, Lal, if you want to comment on that, please. I've tried myself all of them, and I found them really exciting.
Yeah, I think one of the questions that was asked was about the BPA, and you yourself can see that there is a scope for improvement, if I may be a bit critical there. At the same time, you can also see the advantages yourself, how is seamless it actually is. Typically, if you're building something from scratch, you can really you can streamline it. And that's exactly what you can also experience when you go to these pilots, because a couple of them are like, or one of them is built from scratch, while the other is really retrofitting into the existing workflow and processes. And that's also because we just can't dump, get away or dump every single thing that is existing to go towards EUDI Wallet, primarily also because EUDI Wallet is not mandatory yet.
I must confess that I tried a use case with buying a ferry ticket, and seems so real that I was thinking, do I buy a ferry ticket really, or what is here? Yeah.
It is a real portal, real buying.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So there are real interactions. So please try our use case scenarios, because will help us to understand what are the pain points from users' point of view, and will help us also to improve the user experience. So thank you very much for staying with us today. You know how to find us. Please make sure to follow our LinkedIn pages for Intesi Group and for iGrant. You will find a lot of resources and information. We promise to keep you updated as soon as we have news and developments on what we are doing. We will post there, and we'll share with you. Thank you very much, and wishing you all a very happy Easter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lal. Thank you for
Thank you,
being
Vicky.
here.
Yeah.
Also, it's always a pleasure being with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.